The Prime card took over the news this past weekend because this was a massive event. You guys knew how excited I was. I said this was one of the most anticipated boxing events in a long time. Because think about, when have you had a main event this massive that has had this many people talking? And also an undercard that was also good, that had people invested too. Like, this was a really good event, I thought, going into it. But coming out of it, I said, hey, I was disappointed. The two main events, the double main event, really the main and co-main event, had me a bit disappointed, right? I talked about it in yesterday's video. You should definitely go check that out because I talked a little bit more about why, and those were my immediate reactions. But a lot has happened since, and I'm here to talk about the fallout. Dillon Danis has gone on Twitter, and Logan Paul's coming back at him trolling. KSI's acting more and more like a baby.
Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no way, bro.
And last but not least, I just rewatched the fight. I scored it, and I'm going to tell you how I scored the fight upon rewatch. And yes, it is close, but I'm here to give you my thoughts. Before I get into that, I just want to remind you guys to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. We're trying to hit 20K by the end of the year. You guys are the best fan base in MMA, so I know you guys can help me with that goal. But there is going to be a video coming out very soon for UFC 294 that I'm excited about, that I teased a while back, and yeah, it's coming soon. I'm going to be breaking down Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev 1. Tune in for that, and I'll say why Volk lost, what Islam could do better, and how this will affect the rematch. We're going to get into all that. You guys just got to wait for it. But how did I score the fight? Let's get into that right away. Okay, so the fight happened, right? I decided today, let me go rewatch the fight because I don't want to, go into this video talking shit about other people and not have my facts straight. So I was like, hey, let me be open to the possibility that maybe this is a robbery, right? I was honestly open, and I had said I scored it a draw last time, right? And I found it very hard to score just because there was so much clinching, and I found a lot of these rounds were won by one individual moment, and I could say, okay, that was the moment that won the round. I think rounds 1 and 2 were a lot clearer to KSI upon rewatch. I think watching it live, I think I was just a bit, excited, and yeah, sometimes when you're that excited, it's hard to score a fight, and especially when someone like KSI is as big of an underdog, sometimes you can underestimate them. And yeah, KSI landed some good right hands, although the right hand in round 1 that everybody's hyping up did land on the neck. But in round 2, he landed a lot of good shots that I'm like, wow, Tommy Fury ate a few good shots, and you could see Tommy Fury was out of position, and there was a lot of good moments for KSI. Don't get me wrong, I explained yesterday how good his game plan really was. Then round 3, I think you gotta clearly give to Tommy Fury. That's a clear round. Even KSI's coach agrees.
That was his round, but went 3 out. Okay, because of the point. Yeah.
Then you go into round 4. I think that's another clear round for Tommy Fury. I don't really think you could dispute this. So far, we have 2 clear rounds for KSI and 2 clear rounds for Tommy Fury. But when we get into the 5th and 6th rounds, I think that these are the closest rounds, and they're the hardest to tell. I gave round 5 to Tommy Fury, and I gave round 6, the deciding round, to Tommy Fury as well. I think when I first watched it, I think I gave round 6 to KSI. However, Tommy Fury does land a lot of good shots in there. And another thing too, the commentary for this fight, I mean, I usually don't pay attention to commentary, not even because I'm not trying to, I just am so focused on the fight. So this time around, I was a little bit able to hear what they were saying again and picking up on some things. And I'll forgive Ariel because Ariel has gone against Misfits, nor do I think he really cares about Misfits and needs to be on there. I think he just had a bad take, and I did see him defend Dillon this week. I don't think he has the mind of a prime guzzling 5-year-old. I just think that he has a bad take on this one about KSI, but the other commentators were just sucking him off. So my score was 57-56 Tommy Fury. That's how all judges had it. However, a lot of them gave with KSI the 5th and 6th round, while only one judge agreed with me, but miscounted the math and had it a draw, which it's so funny that KSI fans are looking at the scorecard, seeing a scribbled out number, and claiming that the guy switched it last second, while ignoring number 1, that even if he did do that, the other judges would have scored it for Tommy Fury anyway. Also ignoring the gap in their story that one of the judges actually scored it wrong, so now it's a unanimous decision for Tommy Fury, and it got corrected too. And yeah, I kind of agree. I could see it being a draw, and I could also see KSI winning. I mean, the 5th and 6th round are close, and if you say you give it to KSI, I'm not going to argue with you, but I do think that the 5th round kind of does go to Tommy Fury. However, it is pretty close. I think that the 6th round is the round that you'd argue a draw for if you're KSI, at least when you're talking about appealing. However, the appeal is not going to work, guys. I'm telling you guys this. I know a lot of people don't know a lot about combat sports that follow this stuff. It is extremely rare to have an appeal, even in a case where you legitimately have a reason. And this was a close fight, right? And if it wasn't a close fight, and you're telling me that this is a clear KSI robbery, let me ask you, when it went to the judges' scorecards, were you guys even wondering, hey, could it go to Tommy Fury? Could it go to KSI? Were you guys nervous? Because if you weren't nervous, then it wasn't a close fight. Then I'll agree with you. But if you guys were, then I think it just proves it was a close fight. It could have gone either way. It's not Tommy's fault. I have no idea why KSI is going on this rampage. He is is acting like such a baby, and it is embarrassing. I mean, I saw that he posted on Instagram. He seemed a little bit more calm. However, he's still claiming that he clearly won. And first of all, you know, I do usually feel bad for people that have losses. Watching some of the old videos that KSI has made on his opponents after they lost, it's kind of hard to feel bad for him. You know, I showed in my last video,
you losing is now going to be a part of history.
I also just want to mention that now this clip is going viral. Like, I'm pretty sure it came from my channel. I went through the archives to find that. I want my credit. But guys, I'm just kidding around. But yeah, that is the whole KSI situation. Apparently, he didn't shake John Fury's hand either, and Tommy Fury had some bad things to say about him. Yeah, and all in all, I just think KSI needs to grow up. He's a man, dude. He's 30 years old. You can't be kicking screens and throwing fits because of a boxing match. I get it. It sucks. And honestly, if he would have took it like a champ, I would have so much respect for KSI. I would have came on here, and I would have probably been like, yo, I'm sorry for doubting you, man. And I would have admitted I was wrong. However, it's just that the way that you're taking this, KSI, if you're listening, even though I doubt you are, you need to calm down, dude. Even your own fans are turning on you, and it's not hate. And I think KSI is better than Logan in that regard, that I think he does accept criticism a lot better. However, I hope he doesn't think, oh, this is just all hate like Logan would, and then actually does something and improves and realizes the error of his way. I mean, we've seen all the time in combat sports where a guy initially takes a loss bad, and then he says, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, I didn't mean to act like that. That happened recently, I think, you know, a couple weeks ago in the UFC that happened, and it was like a lower level fight. I think it was still impressive, man. I was wondering if Tommy Fury was going to knock him out, so I think that he did good. However, in a rematch, if they do decide to do a rematch, which they definitely shouldn't, I think Tommy wins because, listen, yes, I think this was KSI's best chance. I said this on Twitter. I think this was KSI's best night and Tommy Fury's worst night. Tommy Fury went in there not really expecting this whole karate style, not engaging stance, right? He didn't expect clinch work, and now going into a rematch, those are a lot of things you can work on, and I think that Tommy Fury will be able to figure him out over a training camp. I also think because Tommy Fury will hold a lot of the leverage in this negotiation, I think that it'll probably move to 8 rounds, which might help KSI, saying that it looked like Tommy Fury was kind of slowing down in those later rounds, so I do think that can help KSI. However, I do think Tommy Fury would wind up winning, and I think that he would win more dominantly, but that's just my prediction. I want to talk about real quick before we end the video about Logan Paul and Dillon Danis. Now, obviously, the fight took place. Dillon Danis threw, like, what, 8 punches, landed 8 punches, something like that. Dillon was going to be back on Twitter. At first, he took a few hours, I guess, to process the loss, then back on Twitter, saying he rocked Logan, and basically challenging him to MMA and saying, hey, this wasn't a real fight. Basically, what we all expected to happen. Although I thought he made a good point pointing out how everything was in Logan's favor, and he still challenged himself, and that Logan should do the same. And yeah, Logan has posted some stuff. He posted a good morning meme of Dillon Danis, because obviously that's what Dillon Danis has been doing to him in the past few months, and I get that, but Logan, dude, I don't think this is a win you should celebrate, and this is why, in my opinion, Logan will never be a fighter, and why he'll never be on the level as KSI and Jake, and let alone the athleticism, and let alone any of the attributes that he has, you know, like size, like power, like speed, and no matter how much steroids he's taken, you can't have heart, and that's the thing, man. A real fighter, I don't think would celebrate this loss. This was an embarrassment on Logan. Dillon was the guy with less experience going in there, and let's be honest, yes, he had his hands up, but his defense wasn't good. He wasn't moving around, and I've seen people in the comment section make a good point and say, hey, it's hard to knock out somebody that doesn't want to be in there, that just isn't trying to get knocked out, that isn't engaging, which is true. However, they are usually moving around, throwing jabs, just doing very minimal stuff to just not get knocked down, to distract your opponent so that they can't get knocked out, right? That's what Logan did in the KSI fight. That's what he did in the second one. You know what I mean? That's literally what he was doing, and that's why he lost the fight. And Logan didn't get knocked out, but he was moving around using a jab, and it seemed like in a lot of those moments he lacked output, but Dillon was just not throwing anything, right? There was no threat there. There wasn't, oh yeah, Dillon has a one-shot knockout power to threaten Logan Paul with. There was none of that, dude, and I think that it just shows Logan should have set up to the body, go up top, mix it up, feint a lot, and open up Dillon Danis. I thought that Jake actually gave him some good advice by telling him, hey, he's expecting a 1-2, give him a 1-3. That was a really good advice, and it worked. Anytime that Logan did that, it worked on Dillon, and I think that hooks should have been the game plan. Once you saw that that was what Dillon Danis was going to do, I just thought it showed how bad boxing IQ Logan has. I honestly don't think he's been really dedicating himself to the sport this past few years like Jake or KSI has. Jake's even made comments about this and said, hey, that he's not in the gym outside. He kind of made a sly comment like that when they were beefing, and then that kind of got swept under the rug. And I just think that Logan should not box anymore. I mean, yes, it's exciting when he does. However, I just think for his sake, he probably shouldn't. And I think nobody in the main and co-main event really looked good. I think that everybody has something to be ashamed about going home. And if KSI would have just handled his loss like a normal person, I would have not included him in it, and he would have been my favorite person getting out of the event. But yeah, this is probably going to be the last video talking about the Prime card. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What did you think about the Prime card? What did you think about about the video. What is KSI going to do next? Will he fight Jake Paul? Will he rematch Tommy Fury? Does he win in a rematch? Let me know in the comment section below. You guys are the best fan base in MMA and all of YouTube. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.